Welcome. This is Melinda Barlow, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and I don't know how many of you have had trouble sleeping. I know that sounds a crazy way to start a video, but Mildy Weiss did, and that's how she came up with Bysomnus. And it's like she was having a night where she couldn't sleep, and a little insomnia, and she kept thinking, I'll dream of something, I'll do a repetitive dream in my head. And this pattern came, this one right here, came to her as she was sleeping, and so she woke up and drew it, and now we have goodbye to insomnia, so she calls it Bysomnus, which I think is great, and you can do it in a grid. I did it here in a grid and here in the round, and I'm just going to show you on a little round tile. So first of all, I'm going to do a little border around because I just like having borders. So I'm going to do a little border around my tile, and I start out with one of my favorite strokes, which I call fescue. So we're going to do a little fescue stroke. Then I'm going to do a quarter of a turn, and I'm going to do another little fescue stroke, another quarter of a turn, and a fescue stroke, another quarter of a turn, and another fescue stroke, all ending in the center. Now, excuse me for not zooming in. Now I'm going to repeat that halfway in between each one of these strokes. And there we have the beginning of Bysomnus. And now we're going to come back, and you can see the way that this stroke kind of curves to the outside. We're going to go the way it curves on the outside curve and draw a line down. And I like to make that line a little curved, so it has kind of a little petal shape. And it's going to come all the way around. So you can see you can do this in a grid. If your grid is larger, I just gridded off my tile in 4 grids here to do it, and that's what I came up with. So now we're going to come back, and we're going to do a little striping. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to come right down to the center. So I just go a little bit of ways and come down to the center. So I striped off that, and I'm just going to go around my little Bysomni. And I notice this one looks a little bit wide, so I'm going to come back and put one in. Yeah, I didn't like how it kind of stood out. If it's too wide, they kind of stand out too much. But we just give that a little striping. So all the way around, I've got the little striping in it. Now I'm going to put away my 01. I'm using a Micron 01, and I'm going to pick up the Pigment Pen 05 here, and it has the plastic nib tip, and I like to use that if I'm doing something that is coloring in. And you can see I've colored in these two a little different. This one I've colored in and left a little sparkle. And this one I've just made the one middle one a little thicker. And this is how Mildy did it. Is she just did it thicker, but I just like doing a little different things. So I'm going to just show you. You could come in and you could just take your pen and thicken up just one line. So I'm using the 05. It just makes it a little easier to thicken that up. And I just pick one of those lines and that's close to the center and draw down to that point. And you can see how that really changes this little tangle. You can also come back in and thicken up just one side of your petals here also. You don't have to always shade, well, I will shade this, but you don't always have to have that thin line. You can give it some depth by just coming in and going over that line a little bit to give it a little depth. Now we're going to take our pencil and we're going to shade. And I think I'm just going to add a little graphite right here in the center. And then my blending stump. And pull that out so that it has that little bit of shading. And then I can come out here and I'm just going to use what's left on my blending stump and that outside ring that I did and pull that graphite out. And there we have Bysomnus. Isn't that a great tangle? We'll scan out so you can see how much fun this tangle is. Excuse me, I am very thrilled with Bysomnus. It's one that just kind of jumped at me. I love those simple tangles. And Mildy Weiss, thank you again for this great tangle. Sorry about your night's sleep. Sleep's so important. But tangling can help relax that. If you're stressed at night, take a little time to unwind before you go to bed and tangle. And if you can't sleep, it's proven that if you get up and do an activity for 15 minutes or so, maybe just draw until you're tired and go back. You can go back to bed, you can relax and sleep. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. New videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And thanks again and have a great day.